Hey guys, Rick at Healing Field Farm. Let's talk why you should start your homesteading and why now is a good time to do it. So, we live in some scary times. The whole coronavirus thing. We witnessed a lot through 2020. A lot of shortages on items, a lot of just panic. Some necessary, some not. And, it was really a tough year for a lot of people. There's a lot of people on unemployment right now. The job market's kind of tough. The expenses of everything is going up. And it doesn't seem to show any sign of those prices coming back down anytime soon. So this is really a great time to start. And these are really the reasons why. So first off is your food. And, there's been talk of food shortages. That may or may not happen. We don't know. But the benefits of growing your own food is you know where your food's coming from because you're raising it yourself. You know what that animal, per se, has been fed. Whereas a lot of, meat companies use hormones in their meat. You know what your vegetables have been treated with, whereas if you buy them in a store, you don't know what pesticides necessarily have been applied to those vegetables. And if you're, buying canned stuff, you don't have all those unhealthy preservatives that a lot of the companies use. So, it's better for you to grow your own food. The food tastes better. If there is food shortages in your homesteading, you're canning or you're freezing and you're storing, that bounty that you've gotten through the year. So in the event that there is a food shortage, you're not going to be panicked. You're going to have something to fall back on, which is nice. The community of homesteaders is growing every day. More and more people are getting into this lifestyle. Because they sense, maybe a shift in the way things are going. And they just want a more peaceful life. And that's really, really what it's about. And with that comes a community. And homesteaders are just great people. They have a lot of knowledge. They're willing to share that with you. There are groups on Facebook, Instagram. There's Twitter accounts, TikTok, YouTube, everything. It's all over the place, and you can get knowledge just by reading, watching videos, find stuff out. But the community as a whole is just really great. I see posts all the time of, people having issues with their chickens, what does this look like? And, everybody's jumping in with answers and, the best way to help them. Same thing with goats. Maybe your first time having goats and don't really know what to do. And all these people jump in with their info and their, experience. And it really just such a great community. And like, we live in an area where there's a lot of homesteaders and small farms. And, if I ever need anything, maybe my chainsaw breaks, neighbor's happy to lend it to me. Maybe I need him to come up with his tractor for a couple hours. He's more than willing. And it's really, really just, it's a great community. It's a very tied in community, whereas a lot of people kind of get that mindset that you're looking out for yourself. And that's really not the way to be. And it's really nice to be able to rely on others and at the same time be there for them if they need you. You have more time. You have more time for family. You have more time for hobbies. You just have more time for peace. You're not commuting every day if you're making a lifestyle change of this and doing, working from home full time, homesteading. You have less of the daily grind on your shoulders every day. And it's really great. You're not running errands every other day, running to town, because you're more sustainable and you have the things that you need So you don't need to go all the time. You're not sitting in a cubicle or working someplace 9 to 5 or doing overnights or anything like that. You're home with your family and you're building bonds, and you have time to go fishing if that's what you like, or maybe you want to play a round of golf. But you were commuting an hour and a half each way and then working 8 to 10 hour shifts and then commuting another hour and a half the end of the day. By the time you get home, you're tired. You don't have time for that stuff. Homesteading gives you that time. And yes, some days are long, and you're out working outside 10, 12 hours a day. It's not an everyday thing that you can go do these things, but you have more time and more freedom, and that's really great. You gain more financial freedom. We bought our land, and we bought the shell of the house, and we did all the work ourselves week to week. So our mortgage payments are very small, less so than if we were to go buy, $150,000 house on land or something like that. But you just have more financial freedom. You don't need those big, expensive $40,000 a year trucks because you're not, driving all the time. You need something that you can use around the homestead or to get to point A to point B without worrying about breaking down, but you're not driving all over the place. You're busy working at home. So yes, you have a vehicle, but you can, save up and pay cash and not have a payment and have a reliable vehicle for what you need versus having a vehicle with all the bells and whistles. And you tend to buy what you need and not what you want when you're living on the homestead, because it's not just you that you're worrying about now. You have animals and you have to make sure that they have feed and stuff like that. So you're taking care of the necessities more than the wants, and that's a really good aspect of homesteading. And you get to save a lot of money and improve your land or your homestead with buildings and such like that. So it's also a better way to raise kids, and you will teach life skills to these children. You will build better relationships with your children. You will build work ethics with your children, especially at a younger age, where this generation is more looking to play video games and watch TV, more so than any other generation. You will build a strong work ethic because they're going to want to be out there with you, working in the garden and working with the animals, and they're going to learn so much from that. And those are skills that they're going to be able to use later in life on their own. And it teaches them better life lessons, because they're going to learn about life and death at some point, but it's much better for them to learn it living on the farm about life and death, watching baby goats be born, or watching a pig go to slaughter or a chicken die or something like that, than to see something on the news and have all these hard to answer questions. Why was that man murdered? Or why were those people bombed? Because it's such a scary world out there. And I'm not saying shelter them, because in this day and age you can't, but it's a much better way for them to learn about those kind of life lessons than to learn them from a TV or a video game or something like that. So plus, your relationship with that child is gonna just raise notches from what it used to be. And that's, I think, what we all want in a family, is to have those better relationships. So it'll help you provide security in tough times. So if you've built your home, you're self-sustainable for the most part. Maybe you have solar panels, you have food security set up. So then, those tough times come where, you're scraping by. Well, you don't have to worry about food because you got some food. You don't have to worry about shelter. You have some shelter. And that goes back to that financial freedom where, hopefully you've saved some money along the way to make sure you get by. But when times are tough, and like this is a tough time, I mean, millions of people are on unemployment right now, and the job market's kind of trash at the moment. And a lot of people are just scared to go to work because they don't want to be with the public at the moment. So this is another key point, that by homesteading, you put yourself in a safer position, whereas you don't have to go work that 40-50 hour a week job to make sure that, that $1,700 mortgage is paid, because you're living within your means. You have a sustainable homestead going, and you're going to be okay. So it's a less wasteful life. You reuse more stuff. You tend to fix stuff more than going out and buying new stuff. You waste less food-wise. How many people clean out their fridge and throw away stuff that not necessarily bad, but you just don't want to eat it reheated or anything. Well, your pigs will eat it. Maybe you get some veggies. Your chickens will scratch at it. You put in compost, stuff like that. So you're not just throwing it in the trash. You're getting the most out of everything, and you reuse or repurpose. So much stuff. You can find stuff for free a lot of times, barnwood, stuff like that. And you can empty pallets, and you can build fencing and shelters for your animals like that, and just save yourself tons of money. And the last topic I'm going to add is, it just is a more rewarding life. It's more peaceful. It's less stressful, and there will be stresses, but it's not the same kind of stress that you're necessarily dealing with every day. If you work with the public, you're not dealing with the stress and the panic all the time. If you're working in a cubicle and, you're just kind of questioning why you're doing what you're doing, well, then this is probably the thing that you need to be doing. It ties you to your land. You want to build something. You want to be able to pass that on down the road. And, it really ties you to it. You want it to succeed because you want to teach your children and your family that this can be done, and that this is the better way to live. And then when it comes time to pass it on, they have something already built. And if hopefully you've worked with them, and they'll jump right in and take it over the right way. It brings you closer to your family, to your wife, to your children, or your spouse. Anything. It really brings you closer together overall. And it gives you a great sense of accomplishment, that, come harvest time, you grew all those potatoes, or you grew all those tomatoes and cucumbers. You raised all those chickens. You raised those pigs to term. You're going out and milking your dairy goats, and it's all rewarding. Every last bit of it has joy in it, and that'll add to your life. And it really, at the end of the day, shows you why homesteading is worth it, and the happiness and joy that it will bring to your life. So, hey guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have been able to get some stuff out of this. So again, thank you. Have a good day.